Hi, everyone. Welcome to Experiencing Intelligent Breakthroughs in Your Sports Performance and Life. And today, we're continuing with the 7 strategies to solve a performance gap. And strategy 6 is advice. Now, you'll know as an athlete, there's a lot of people that will gladly give you advice. And as an athlete, you need to understand how to filter that advice and who it's coming from. And actually, a lot of it's well-meaning and some of it's on target, but it's not really looking into your situation. It's not really doing the research that's necessary as when you get advice from someone who you're paying for advice or who you have on retainer or who's a coach or a mentor, someone of that effect. And so that's really, really important that you have and understand the value advice. Because what advice does is advice allows you to go into a specific direction with much more clarity, with the ability to gain advances in performance without really struggling as much just because of the advice. I mean, just think about it in your sport, whatever your sport is right now. If you had a team with your coaches as well as like some other coaches that you highly regard, as well as some athletes that you highly regard who've accomplished a lot more than you have currently, and you were able to have access to them and you were able to get that advice, then you'd really be able to go further, would you not? And probably with less struggling, less of a challenge, with less of less emotional conflict or mindset conflict or people conflict or frustration. And so that's the value advice. Value advice. Now, if you're getting advice from people, then you need to be able to filter it. Now, paid advice or someone on a retainer, a coach, a mentor, then that obviously is something where you're still filtering it, but you just regard this person so that they can really be able to help you. And so that's what I do in my sessions, my private sessions, is that I'm really able to listen to help you. And sometimes it's in the version of coaching, mentoring, and sometimes it's just advice. And, a lot of times advice is just clarity oriented, like you're preparing for an event, you're preparing for a meeting, you're preparing or you're debriefing after the event and things of that nature. Now, I can give you examples of great advice and then examples of advice that wasn't from someone that I regard that is basically naysayers. I mean, as an athlete, you hear a lot of this, right? All athletes do. And it's just the reality of athletics, regardless of what level you're at. There's just some people who think that you just don't have the talent or you don't have the ability. And most likely, if you're progressing, that's not really the issue. It's the matter of nurturing, developing, building, and growing and experiencing intelligent breakthroughs, the zone effect, and all of those things that matter. And having that right support system. And so that's the value of advice. And great advice can really make you go forward and stick with it and give you grit and actually help you to have it invigorates you in doing your sport. It's interesting, your sport is. It's challenging. It's competitive. It's fun. It's enjoyable. All the things that you like it to be, right? But then if you have bad advice, and usually this is naysayers or other people, it can really take you in another direction. I mean, I've heard athletes, some, just thinking like, certain things that have happened to them are just not possible and they should just stop. They should just focus on something else, and they'll be talking with me, and that's not needed. There's usually a solution for lots of things, for most things. Now, do you want to put in the work and learn in order to get through that solution? Because as you do, you'll become stronger and stronger. And then that's what makes you a great, great athlete. And so that's what the value of advice is. Now, what's my zone effect for this week? My zone effect for this week is something that a lot of athletes can use, and that's to know how to self-regulate. And I'll give you an example. Today, I am doing this Facebook Live from a backup computer because my other computer, for whatever reason, Facebook Live was bringing up a blank black screen. And so I tried a few things and it still didn't work. And then it started to reboot. And in the past, I might have gotten a little bit frustrated. And if I did, then I would have experienced some stress, anxiety, and it probably affected my day. It affected me mentally, my mindset, my motivation, my inspiration, my mood. I mean, it just affected me negatively. And when that happens, then your thinking doesn't become as clear, right? You don't have clear thinking, so you're not able to be as effective and efficient in your thinking. If you have better thinking, just imagine how much better your day would be. And so I was able to use self-regulation because I know how to self-regulate. And I just slowed everything down in my mind. Just told myself, the zone basically is when you're making a breakthrough performance improvement, you're doing something better, it's in slow motion, or time's not a factor, and it feels effortless. And so once I just slowed everything down, my thinking became clear. And what I did is I made a few contacts while it was rebooting or doing whatever it was doing that was taking much longer than anticipated. And then I am using a backup computer. Now, if I didn't have and know how to self-regulate, I might not have thought to use a backup computer, but I do. So that's what I have for you today. Hope you have a meaningful trigger for this evening. I know I do. I'm going to do a few things this evening and looking forward to the weekend. So Friday is never a hard day to have a meaningful trigger. And if something here resonates with you, you can contact me at 864-569-2315 or Raj at rajgavrola.com.